Welcome to Ultra Q, episode 7. My name is Red. I'm joined by Mel.
My challenge from 2020 is embarrassing memories.
Oh. And Razan.
Hello. 2020, not a good year.
My challenge from 2020 was making sense of Gundam. That was what I did with.
Oh, I also did that in 2020.
Also trying to convince my job that they didn't need me in the office. That was my 2020 challenge.
For me, I worked in the restaurant, so I just worked in person during all of COVID. So
yeah, not fun. Grim.
I started working from home, and then my company realized, we just don't need you. And then I got rescued by another place that treated me a lot better. So it all worked out in the end, but not a good time.
Capitalism.
Well, at least our challenge from 2020 isn't aliens that make us disappear.
Or jizz out of their head, but we'll talk about it.
We'll get to that. I had completely forgotten about that bit.
I feel like this podcast is revealing to me that I have a gift for latching on to things that most people would just, uncomfortably kind of fade into the back of their memory, but I have a way of just shoving it to the forefront so that we all have to deal with it.
Yeah, you did Platinum Babylon's Full.
That's true. Speaking of shoving things in front of people's faces, I have a show and tell. I'm going to turn on my webcam for a second.
Okay.
Hang on.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to have to describe this. Oh my god, that's a fucking Canagon.
Yeah, I bought a little Canagon. It
Holy
was
shit.
Less than $10 on Amazon.
Oh, nice.
Wow. That's sick.
Also, I do like your...
He's on my desk now.
I do like your KOF posters.
Thank you. This was supposed to be like my big boy respectable home office, and then I was like, what if I bought an arcade one-up and a bunch of
the thing is,
posters and flyers and framed them?
The thing is, if I had a respectable home office, I would just put it with Precure posters everywhere.
There you go. I just go to the kitchen if I need to do like a formal call and not look like a gremlin fighting game fan.
Nice. Well, show and tell has begun. Unfortunately, I don't have Mothra to show and tell because the subtitles were fucking stupid.
I just dealt with it.
Oh,
I feel like when I did it, I used like MPV's like sub delay to try and make it work, but it does take like some trial and error just to get it.
I mean, I was like, I was having an issue where I was using like, I was like I delayed the subs, and then I realized that wasn't the only problem. The other problem was that they were fucking all over the place. Sometimes it was just, a line would show up for the shortest amount of time in the world, or would be... Yeah.
The problem is with delay-based subs, we should go to rollback-based subs.
So the problem is that the delay was not consistent, because I tried to like fiddle with it too, and it just like I kept having to open it, and I was at some point I was just like, I'm just going to deal with this. That being said, Mothra, good movie.
It is a good movie.
Nice.
there's some weird stuff going on with indigenous people in that movie.
That is also true in a bunch of early Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
I was like, I do like these movies. I don't like this.
Yeah, like, and it sucks because the entire premise of that movie is that there's an evil man from fake America, which I do not understand why they didn't just call it America. There's a point where Mothra attacks New Dirk City.
I do remember that.
It's just New York. But it's this evil fake American businessman who is basically finds these two like tiny girls on this island who are like priestesses for Mothra and the indigenous people there, and is like, oh, what if I decided to have a people zoo? And everyone else in the movie goes, that's fucked up. And Mothra, is like, that's also fucked up, and goes to save them. And it's very clear that nobody in this movie likes this man or his exploitation of them. Not great. But also the movie just cannot help but give these priestesses like these magical like telepathy powers. And I mean, the fact that they're also literally like tiny, like action figure sized, everyone calls them dolls. A lot of weird mysticism stuff going on.
Oh yeah, the 1/8
didn't sit
project.
right with me. Yes, actually. I was thinking about the 1/8 project a lot watching Mothra.
Wait, did you also just watch Mothra? Or?
Yeah, I watched it this morning.
Oh, okay. So I guess we're having our Mothra segment anyway.
Yes.
My failure to commit to the subs, not limiting Mothra.
It's sorry if I spoiled the movie for you. I didn't even think.
No. I already knew about the two kids anyway, so I'm good.
Japan's propensity to just do fake countries is pretty funny, especially when it's like, why not just use the real one?
There's one bit that I kind of don't want to spoil, but the way that the antagonist goes out in that movie, they do a really interesting cutback to an earlier part of the movie that tells you everything you need to know about how this person views humanity. And it's kind of wonderful, and I honestly wasn't really expecting it, but I was like, oh wow, that's great. Overall, I liked Mothra a lot. I think Rodan's still my number one, but I had a good time. Someone should go in and fix those subs, though. It's kind of wild to me that no one's done that already.
Yeah. I might just deal with it. is what I might try to do. But yeah, it's nice to know that Mothra was good. I have not done much this week, but I did finish an anime.
I just want to hop in here and say that this would have been the week that I also finished that anime. However, you may continue.
I finished it first and reported, and Mel decided, no, you know what, I'm good.
Nah, fuck that shit. I'm bailing.
We finished I finished Nanoha Strikers. It's a bad anime. It's a really bad anime. Hello, it's Red from the future again. I didn't plan on visiting 2 episodes in a row, but I'm about to get so caught up in how bad Nanoha Strikers is that I basically spoil the whole thing, including some bits and pieces of the original Nanoha and Nanoha A's. I figured, as Nanoha is kind of a big deal, I should probably give you fair warning. If you want to avoid those spoilers, skip to about 22 minutes and 30 seconds. So there's like Nanoha, a magical girl franchise, spin-off from ostensibly spin-off from visual novels which aren't anything to do with magical girls. The first 2 series, Nanoha is a magical girl. She is the main character. The other main character is Fate. There is a cast of characters to support them. So, from memory, let's see. Who are the characters in Nanoha Strikers? There's Nanoha, there's Fate, there's Hayate, there's Vita, there's Signum, there's Zafira, there's the other Belkan Knight that begins with an M. I can't remember her name.
Oh yeah, I love the guys from A's.
I do love the guys from A's.
It's great to see more of them in this starring role, right?
There's there's Subaru and Tiana, who are supposed to be kind of the new main girls in the show. They're not.
Also, like
there's
Shinasuka.
Also, yes, like Shinasuka. There's Aereo, there's Karo, who are like Fate's psychopath enforcer children, who are too powerful to be allowed to live free, but she's like, I'll come be cops and my kids, and everything will be fine. It's a little fucked up. Then there's the support staff of Rifle 6, who are all fucking named. They're all in the little Where Are They Now at the end of the show, where it's like Shario is in the, like, gets a little postscript thing, like her name listed with, you know, what rank she is now, what where she is, who she's with, and it's like, who the fuck is Shario? Get out of here. These aren't characters. There's one of them is a character though. There's the helicopter pilot Vice, who has the Die Hard shot a kid plot, who shot a hostage, who turns out to be his sister, who is fine but wears an eye patch, but then halfway through the scene takes off the eye patch and is like, actually my eye's been fine the whole time. It's terrible.
I remember I see that scene and I was like, well, her eye is visibly not okay in this scene, but okay, whatever, you do you.
It's bad. Then there's the green hair guy, Infinite Dog Man, which is the new manga from Tatsuki Fujimoto, the Chainsaw Man author. Then there's Kareem, who is the Prophet. There's Chrono. Chrono's in this show technically.
Is it
from Chrono Trigger?
No, not from Chrono Trigger.
Sometimes in this show.
Yes, Chrono and Yuno of previous Nanoha series, sometimes in this show. Chrono's cool. I wish Chrono was in this show more because he is the ultimate anime cop. His bit in the first two Nanoha shows is that he is the ultimate anime cop. He is so much of a cop, and he's also 10 years old. Then there's a combat nun who turns up at some point in the show completely unannounced. It's like, who are you? She's important though. She gets one of the fights against the Organization 13 harem of indistinguishable pregnant cyborgs. I'll get to them. Just go on. I'm just gonna share, like, there was one of the last episodes I watched had this eye catch of all of the entire cyborg girls. I'm just sharing this in the chat right now, and I'm just like, I just felt so angry seeing this eye catch. As I said, I was supposed to care. It's so bad.
I'm just like, what? Like, Razin, you see this, right?
Yes.
Terrible. The fucking Regius, who is a politician on the planet of Mid, is appropriate. His lieutenant, she's named, she's important. The three brains in jars, who are also disembodied Sele voices sometimes.
So I need to ask, because at some point I stopped caring and paying attention while I was watching the episodes. Like, were the brains in there for more than one episode? Because, like, I only remember them from the very last episode they were in, because they were just died randomly to a character who I didn't recognize. So I was just like, is this important? Did I miss something?
I don't think you missed anything. I think they might have just been revealed to be brains in jars in the very same episode where they get betrayed by a character who is... it's done like it's a reveal of who the character... of like, oh, this character was a traitor the whole time. It's like, this character showed up literally 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, that's what I
Shut
thought.
up.
That's literally what I thought.
Yes, that character that shows up is one of the Organization 13 harem of indistinguishable pregnant cyborgs. I wonder how many times I'm going to say that. Then we get to Jail Scaglietti, who is the man who made his personal Organization 13 harem of indistinguishable pregnant cyborgs. They're all named. They all have different powers and characters and slightly different personalities. It's the worst. It's the worst. They are all, like, paired off with, like, slightly different characters to have fights, and it sucks. It's not good. There are too many characters in the show. They keep getting introduced. There's new characters introduced within like the last like 6 episodes of the show. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Please stop.
Yeah.
What's the episode count total?
It's
26.
26, which is double the amount of the previous.
This seems like pushing it even for 26.
Yeah, like the previous seasons were like 13 episodes each. And they took place in Nanoha's world, and there was like talks, like there was lore about a multiverse kind of situation, like dimensional police thing.
But now the show's about the dimensional police.
Now they are in
bad.
and they're on another world, and just like Nanoha and Fate are just living here. They share a bedroom, which is nice, but also it's just like, what are we doing here?
They're just all in the world.
We're supposed to care about the politics of this world that, I guess.
It doesn't. It's bad.
The thing that like in the second half that almost made me go, okay, maybe this is okay, is like Nanoha and Fate get an adopted daughter. I was like, oh, I'm kind of liking this, and then I guess Red can take it from here.
Oh yeah, I somehow forgot Vivio, one of the main characters of the show, who Nanoha's child. So one of the things that happens, the thing that we referenced like a couple of weeks ago, where we were like, I'm not sure about Nanoha Strikers, was halfway through the show, there's this arc, there's this like couple of episodes where Nanoha and a bunch of the people in charge of training the new kids are like really violent with them. Like Nanoha shoots one of them out of the sky, and then she gets punched in the face the next episode for asking, like, what did I do wrong? Like, full Bright Noah. And it's just revealed as like, wow, well, Nanoha just thinks you're just too desperate for power and stuff, and it's all like a lesson from that she learned in her past, and it's like, it's all this stuff that's just like, I think someone should have told Tiana what the problem was. Instead of hitting her in the face. But it's that's not how the show views it. And then Nanoha gets a kid, and so Fate's backstory is super fucked up. So she cares about kids. She's like, I'm the motherly one. Now, if you lack imagination, that means that Nanoha has to be dad.
The writers, as you may tell, have no imagination.
Yes. And her being dad, no, this could be fine. This could be fine, because this dynamic works in other shows. Like, Symphogear kind of does this, where it's like, the plot of season 1 of Symphogear is that Hibiki is not just a magical girl with some Yuri vibes. She's a wife guy. She's like married. She's like married to this girl basically, and the plot is about her getting a new stressful job that she has to keep a secret from her wife, and then her wife is like trying to fill in the gaps about why isn't Hibiki spending all that time with me at home anymore, and starts to think like, oh, is she cheating on me, or that kind of. It's all like, it's like. Hibiki learns how to be she has a montage where she learns how to be a himbo. It's great. Symphogear, a good show.
Symphogear, the good spiritual successor to Nanoha Ace, unlike Strikers.
Yes. And in Strikers, because it's all done in parental ways instead, where it's like, well, Fate is caring, and she's able to like give the kid the like freedom and stuff, but then it's Nanoha she's dad, which means that she's able to teach the kids the hard lessons that mum isn't able to, which, of course means the conclusion of this arc is Vivio is kidnapped by the bad guys and is transformed and has to be saved, and saving her involves shooting her with the most powerful blast of magic that Nanoha has ever used in her life, and because of what the rest of the show is, It's like with like the Tiana stuff, and then her having to be like being like strict with Vivio, whereas Fate is like oh, Fate spoils her, and because of that, it just comes across as, oh well, Nanoha just has to hit her kid and everything will be fine.
I can't believe Kingdom Hearts 4 is gonna have Donald Duck using Zeta Flare on Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think Nanoha Strikers is very good. I think
so
it's
that's
pretty...
what the strikers in the title means. Their parents.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's what it means. She gets like a bad dad arc, like a classic bad dad arc, where she is like, well, I'm not a good parent. I'm so.
She's right.
She's right. She says, "Oh well, I'm so attached to my job." She says, "I'm a girl of the sky" because she's a flying mage. She's just too Top Gun Maverick to be a parent. And then Vivio gets kidnapped, and it's like, oh well, classic. Now I get to redeem myself as a parent by doing a mission. It sucks. It's the worst. And yeah, then meanwhile, Jail Scaglietti and his Organization 13 harem of indistinguishable pregnant cyborgs. Oh, by the way, I forgot, Subaru's sister is in this show. She becomes one of those cyborgs because she was already a cyborg. So this is maybe a gross question to ask. Is Ginga pregnant at the end of the show? The show doesn't elaborate on what they do with the Jail Scaglietti clones that are in. Doesn't get into it. You know what? If I was writing Nanoha Strikers, I wouldn't have done this bit. I wouldn't have done the bit where Jail Scaglietti had, like, impregnated cyborgs with clones of himself. I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I think is unhinged. It is, however, with a heavy heart, I must say that this week's episode title must be Indistinguishable Pregnant Cyborgs.
Oh no. Maybe. I have unfortunately said it too much.
You have, unfortunately.
It's the quickest way to explain who they all are.
I just checked; it's not singable to the TMNT theme song.
Oh, rip. Damn. Yeah, that was Nanoha Strikers. I'm sorry if I spoiled Nanoha Strikers for anyone. Don't watch it.
Yeah,
I'm still gonna watch Vivid because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I will see about Vivid when you see about it. Because I'm like, I dropped that shit as a rock as soon as you told me what happened, because I was like, I don't care about this, so I don't care if I'm spoiled. And then I read it, and I was like, I am not going to spend 4 days watching the rest of this. No, I'm out. I don't want this to be the build-up I'm watching to, so I just drop it like a rock. I'm down to watch the movies, because that seems to be more... The 2 new movies they made seem to be falling more from the A's stuff, so maybe it's actually like the stuff I actually like about Nanoha, and not whatever the fuck they're doing with pan-dimensional cop show shit that is barely a Magical Girl show anymore.
It's so weird that they had 26 episodes and didn't manage to get a single good villain out of the show. When they wrote Nanoha Ace, which has the Belkan Knights, which, first of all, very, very funny name for antagonists, given that Belkan Knight, like Belka, and a history of like Belkan Knights is like Ace Combat lore.
Striker is trying to be Top Gun Ace Combat, and it sucks actually.
It's funny, but the Belkan Knights are great. Signum, Vita, and the rest of them are just cool. The whole Hayate stuff in Nanoha Ace is fun.
It's unfortunate that every single character from Ace gets like character assassinated in Strikers. Yeah.
If Hayate had just lived a happy life, a normal happy life without being a cop, I'd have been like, yeah, of course, that's exactly what would have happened. Stupid. Anyway, I'm not talking about Nanoha Strikers anymore.
Good riddance.
Disappointment.
I need all of it. We're making this a weekly occurrence now. We need everyone to come to vent about whatever frustrating bad bullshit they're going through every week now.
Uh-oh. Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
That I'm sure.
I don't actually think I have anything in the chamber that I think will give me that level of reaction again. Mel, it's up to you.
Okay, so I actually didn't do much this week, which is probably a good cosmic balancing of the force, considering the past 2 weeks I sure did take up a lot of time with my stuff. I'll just give, I guess, a minor Three Kingdoms update, because I forgot to do that last week. Damn, a lot of stuff happened in the time which I read, including one of the most famous characters of the books just beefing it 1/5 of the way through.
Yeah.
This whole arc about, like, Cao Cao trying to recruit Guan Yu and just the sheer gymnastics and crazy shit, and then Guan Yu just, like, going through a bunch of checkpoints to get back to Liu Bei and just kill a bunch of guys. Like, come on, just let me get the fuck through. Come on.
Guan Yu's solo adventures are great.
Yeah. Very iconic scene where Cao Cao and just regales to Liu Bei who the three heroes of the age are: himself, Lu Bu, and John Wolong.
Yes. Wolong fulfilling a classic Three Kingdoms era habit of adding OCs to it. This tradition goes back to the Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
It is extremely funny just how much there's just, like, a bunch of characters in romance who are like, yeah, this person is not real. Like Dao Chen, or the guy who feeds Liu Bei his wife. That was something I also missed from last week.
Was the guy who feeds Liu Bei his wife isn't real?
Yes.
Why is it in the book then? What the fuck?
It's supposed to be, like, about loyalty to the empire and giving up for the cause or something like that, which is why Liu Bei sheds a tear and it's like, oh man, he gave up so much to support me, and then he tells Cao Cao this, and he's like, oh man, he's so dedicated to the cause, I'm gonna send him gold for feeding his wife to Liu Bei.
That's a hell of an OC.
Sometimes you need to make up a guy to prove a point.
Yeah.
One guy eats his eye. That did happen. I'm not telling these things in chronological order. I'm just like, there's just so much shit in this book.
Yeah. You have yet to hit the most metal thing that I've ever read.
I still haven't fucking got to Kongming yet. He feels so far away.
He's, he'll show up.
Is there, like, a specific version of this that y'all are reading? Because I, again, would like to hop on this at some point.
Yeah, it's
the
Moss Roberts unabridged translation.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe Mel is who you want to talk to if you get that. I took a very stupid route.
You bought it physically.
I bought
which
the physical
I
books.
did not do. Either the
I
buying or the physical part.
Yeah, I had the cash. And was like, I want to own this for all time. Yeah. It was maybe a silly decision, but
sometimes owning things is nice.
Yeah.
I have I'm looking at my shelf right now of way too many Blu-rays and DVDs for random bullshit. I don't know why I have the Zone of the Enders TV show. I don't need this, but,
Is it good?
I haven't seen it since I was, like, 19.
Oh, so yes.
Sure, yeah. I remember, unlike other mech shows, this one's about a sad trucker man, so, that's kind of fun, but...
Nice.
It extremely tracks that the Kojima game anime would be about a trucker doing trucking. He was always interested in this.
Yeah. I got one last thing, actually, this week.
Hit me.
I spent this weekend cruising around and drinking in a big city with cool and cute ladies with well-developed personalities and life stories, unrelated to in a world run by boomers. Unrelated to that, I also watched Bubblegum Crisis.
Yeah, one of these does not have characters with defined personality.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of where I was at last time we checked in on Bubblegum Crisis. I feel like that exists in my brain in, like, that PS1 FMV appreciation zone where it's like
nice.
I enjoy looking at this when the action is happening. That's about it. Those characters are nothing. I still have the problem that I talked about last time, where one thing, it took me a while, and I'm sure even if I went back to it again, it would take me some time to be able to distinguish who was doing what, because those suits are not distinct enough, and it bothers me.
Yeah.
Are they not? Oh yeah, you were talking about how they're not just like bright Sentai color themed or anything.
I mean, they are color themed, but some like there's two technically blue suits, so that's a problem. Like one is blue and one's like white and blue, but like there's not much distinguish them. Episode 8 of that show is pretty alright and fun, but
Em Jackson did a whole podcast about it where I feel like they echoed a lot of what we had said.
They sure did. I now have it on good authority that just because Crisis fans don't like Bubblegum Crash doesn't mean Crash is actually good.
Yeah, I feel like anything I would have more to say, I think they basically already covered, so I'm just going to say go listen to that, because I think I line up with them pretty well.
You are right. I would go so far as to say that depending on the lighting of the scene, I would say 3 of these suits look too similar.
That was my issue.
I'm not sure if it gets fixed in the show like 2049 or whatever, but also I don't know if I care enough about Bubblegum Crisis to go watch that.
Yeah.
I might still go in and check out the other stuff just because I never have, and it's like, I can say I did it, but that's not... The world is so derivative and just kind of like one of those that it's not like I'm itching to dig deeper into what it has to offer, you know?
Really, my big...
Bubblegum Crisis is a vibe, it is not a story, is kind of how I feel about it at this point.
Yeah. Really, my biggest takeaway is that I should probably just get to Dirty Pair already.
Dirty Pair is good.
Well, all right. Do we have anything else, or shall we get into Ultra Q?
No, we still apparently have like half an hour more to do, just based on process.
I was enjoying looking at the anchor page, how our podcast is following the good podcast marker of every episode being absurdly more long than the last.
I am my brain goes the opposite way. I feel nothing the moment I looked at the thing and it was over 2 hours, I was like, oh no, I'm so sorry.
My favorite is that after we were done recording, I went, wow, 2 hours, and read you so confidently were like, I'm pretty sure when we edit that down, that's not going to be 2 hours, and I was like...
I was very wrong.
There was definitely a part of me that's like, damn, am I just saying too much that's like making this last longer?
No, it was fine.
I think we're fine.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, we offer timestamps. People who do not care have the option to just skip to the part where we talk about the fun show.
I was just true. Like looking at the new episode and putting the timestamps. Like, what do you mean we get to the first episode of Ultra Q 1 hour in?
We had to get into Sentai. We did have to talk about Sentai. I wasn't
not going to talk about Dawn Brothers.
We learned that Sentai is the one that has been going forever.
Oh, actually, my friend group. So I said while we had that discussion, my friend Julian, literally as we were talking, was like, oh, hey, I started checking out Dawn Brothers. I joined the call later that night, and they were watching Dawn Brothers. They are 10 episodes in. I need to catch up so I can watch it along with them. But
yes.
I will be hopping on that train as soon as I can. I just need to catch up with my friends.
First episode of the new show aired yesterday, and the subs haven't dropped yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
Like, rationally, I know that that's how this works, where they just follow up with the next thing, like, gets going, but oh my god, it just... we talked about this last week, we can't do it again, but I just cannot understand working as a creative under these conditions. It just blows my mind that this is how the system works.
I mean, yeah, there's a reason also why Sentai has had, like, ups and downs, is because, like, dang, you keep going for a while, and then you need to, like, give a shot in the
chill.
arm.
Yeah.
Or do what Ultra and Kamen Rider do and just like take a few years off.
Mm-hmm. But they're gonna try their hardest never to do that. They got that unbroken streak.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna get into Ultra Q.
Yes.
So, episode 19, as was alluded to earlier, is called Challenge from the Year 2020. Major Amano of the JSDF orders the launch of fighters to investigate a strange radar reading. But when they approach, the fighters disappear. All over the country, people are vanishing into thin air after coming into contact with a strange goop. I'm sorry, I called it goop. And Yuriko manages to photograph one of them at the moment of their disappearance. Amano and Yuriko... Mm-hmm.
I just think this montage of people disappearing is really funny because you just get this funny scene of just this guy sitting very like just manspreading on his like balcony, just like drinking milk. I'm just like, who drinks milk like this? What do you do?
He is just drinking. I did think, is that milk?
It's not just how he's drinking milk, but just like the entire mannerism and his pose while doing it. I'm just like, what's going on here?
On a balcony,
It was very funny that the person who saw him disappear did just stand in front of him, watch him do it, and was kind of like, huh, all right. Yuriko manages to photograph one of them at the moment of their disappearance. Amano and Yuriko both seek help from Jun. Ippei thinks that their stories sound an awful lot like the sci-fi novel Challenge from the year 2020, but Yuriko does not appreciate Ippei comparing her story to fiction. Jun's skeptical, but he agrees to fly Amano to the location where his fighters disappeared, and once there, they find nothing of note, and Amano starts to doubt himself. But at that moment, a strange liquid creeps up the back of Jun's seat, touches him, and Jun disappears, and Amano has to take the wheel. With Jun gone, Yuriko and Amano set to cracking this mystery, while Ippei keeps going on about the novel. Yuriko takes a look at the developed film of the photos she took earlier, and an attack meant for her is intercepted by her assistant photographer, who vanishes. Yuriko is assigned a police escort, Inspector Udagawa. She takes one look at Udagawa and decides he's a useless, bumbling old man, but he gets a chance to prove himself later that night, as Yuriko is almost ambushed in a phone booth by the strange liquid, and Udagawa rescues her and burns away the liquid with his cigarette. They're weak to fire, just like in the book Challenge from the year 2020. Relieved, Udagawa and Yuriko watch in horror as a humanoid alien lurking in the shadows runs away. I don't know why it runs like that, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I love it so much.
It's quite the run.
It's great. Udagawa tells Yuriko that he knows the author of Challenge from the year 2020, Dr. Kanda, who wove strange prophetic truth into his fiction. In the book, the Kemur are an alien people who have surpassed all limitations except the deterioration of the body. That's why they are stealing human bodies as vessels. The two track a Kemur to a small amusement park where they see Jun, except the vibes are all the way off. It isn't Jun at all. It's a Kemur in disguise. Udagawa and the police gun it down as it tries to climb up a Ferris wheel or something. It grows to kaiju size
Super
and
Sentai
fucks
invented
up
nothing.
the Ferris wheel. Yeah. Just immediately a whole genre getting invented. Meanwhile, Ippei and Amano have been on their own adventure. They went to Dr. Kanda's place. The doctor wasn't in, but they did find the little thing, the thing that kills the Kemur. They find it. It's in a little envelope or something. They put it on Tokyo Tower and they broadcast it, and it kills the Kemur. There's like lightning bolts coming off the top of Tokyo Tower towards the amusement park. Mist settles over the spinning teacups, and when it clears, all the vanished people have been returned. Yuriko goes to greet Jun, but in the last moment flees in fear. And Jun laughs, finds it funny. Udagawa sees a puddle and is like, well, yeah, every job's done. Sees the puddle and is like, nah, it couldn't be. And jumps in it and then vanishes. The end. Rip Udagawa.
Rip.
He was a real one.
Idiot.
I have some actor trivia stuff.
Go ahead.
If we
Ooh,
want to
nice.
get into it. So, Major Amano, I immediately recognized because I went, oh shit, that's Mr. Tachibana from Kamen Rider. It is indeed
Oh, fuck.
Akiji Kobayashi. So to see he and Jun just hanging out in airplane together, I was like, these are just the two greatest like tokusatsu men just like flying together, having
Now
a
we
good
just
time.
need Sagata Sanjiro.
Yes. So I was really happy to see him here. Also too, this is going back to what we were talking about earlier. There is like one shot of Jun Jun's actor, which I believe is it Kenji Sahara is his name. I want to say. Let me just double. Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
In Mothra as a helicopter pilot, and in my headcanon, I'm like, that's just Jun.
Nice.
I watched deep enough into Mothra to see that. That was like within like the first 5 minutes or something. I was like, oh, it's Jun.
Yeah.
His subtitles are really off time.
I really thought he would be like a character, and that he's not. He just shows up to fly around and leaves. But
he's busy searching for Pagula.
Exactly. But I enjoy that I am now at the point where I have seen enough tokusatsu of this era to recognize the crossover in like acting talent and just be like, oh shit, it's him, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Go ahead.
This is like a minor scene. I don't know if I interpreted right, but I did like after Ippei and Amano got the MacGuffin device and are driving to Tokyo Tower, they were like, dang, it'd be helpful if we had the police to help us. And then Amano just like starts speeding to get the cops' attention. And I was like, that's pretty good.
Yes!
I think that is what happens, yes.
Yeah.
It's fun. Ippei makes a new friend this episode. Because everyone else does not take him seriously. He's like, no, seriously. It is exactly like this fucking book I read. And I was, yeah, whatever. Get out of here. People need to put a little more faith in Ippei.
True.
He is actually through. Competent. He's just also a goofball.
Yeah. The design of the aliens, the weird thing with all the goop coming out the top, weird.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
We got
they're funny looking. The design of the heads with like it kind of looks like it's all cracked and gnarly. It's kind of cool.
Wow, there's
the reveal shot where the cop just turns the corner and it's like clinging to like a chain link fence, kind of crucified looking, and then immediately bolts as soon as it realizes it's been discovered. It's so unsettling.
That is
I should
really
say
cool.
I watched this with a couple of friends because I was like, hey, I've been watching this thing. I mean, they know about the podcast, but I was like, I think y'all would have a good time. Just watch this along with me. So shout outs to Shout Factory for just fucking having it on their website. I just streamed it to them, and I was bewildered by how fast they immediately understood all three of our main heroes' personalities, and immediately were like, oh, Ippei's great, or like, oh, Jude's a bad, like, immediately watching this episode, they got the show.
Yeah.
And I was very, very happy about that. I ended up showing them, they watched the next two with me as well, but then I went through and I showed them the all-timers, including Kanagan's Cocoon and Dragon Palace and all that. But
hell yeah.
I think this is a very strong episode of the show, and I think I need to sit with it more. This might be my new number one.
It's really good.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
whenever they need to execute a creepy vibe, they get it just right.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's my new number one, but I do like this episode a lot. It's very cool. The Kemmer's like run is goofy and weird, but also there is like a otherworldliness that adds the unsettling factor, especially when you have like the thing it keeps doing.
Yes, I love the noise. It's so good. The thing that I'm struggling with is I just like Garamon and all the telekinetic shit from Garamon Returns so much, and I'm like, those two are tied right now for number one for me. And I don't know, this was just a really good like terrifying episode, and I feel like part of the reason it works is because the goo gives them this great device where our main characters, who normally were like, oh, they're gonna be fine or they'll get out of the situation, when they're in the plane, no, they're not fine. When they're in the plane and that goo is creeping up on them, I was like, oh, Mr. Tachibana is gonna disappear. And then when June disappears, I was like, oh, this changes everything.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It is interesting to see like Jun like actually taking a commission for like 80% of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is an Ippei story. Well, I mean, it's mostly a Lyrical story, but...
the moment when the goo attacks in the telephone booth, in particular, I was like, damn, this show's just well made.
Yeah.
The cut back to just the dangling phone, but then because we've had Jun has disappeared, we're like, damn, it got Yuriko, but it didn't get Yuriko.
And then Yuriko also disappeared later, but also not from the goo, question mark?
Yuriko disappeared later?
Well, it's like...
Did I miss something?
There was like the Uragawa is like talking to her on the steps, and he turns around and she's not there, and then Yuriko like wakes up in the middle of the theme park unconscious, and then she's...
Yeah.
Oh, right, yes.
She got gooed faster than the speed of light.
Yeah.
There was a mishap in like delivering her, and they just dropped her off at the theme park too early.
Listen, sometimes you just need to swing by a creepy theme park.
I think that also, so again, I'm actually happy I showed my friends the like some of the older episodes, because I think that's the same theme park from the Dragon Palace episode, because that also had like the teacup ride.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, why book a place more than... Why book two different places when you can just book the same place?
Yeah, I mean, you got the place. You know that you can talk out a deal to book a place or whatever.
Yeah,
Why not?
just like how Toei has been booking the same Cordy for over 60 years.
So this is the same place where we had the Benny Hill chase. Nice.
I believe so. I could be mistaken, but that teacup ride looks exactly the same.
I'm just gonna assume you're right until someone corrects me.
Yes.
Send in your emails.
Yeah. The
one Japanese theme park teacup ride aficionado will be listening to this podcast.
Oh yeah. Luckily, there's only one teacup ride in all of Japan. It's right there.
Yeah.
The whole book, the whole Dr. Kanda thing, is on the one hand, it's barely in the show. On the other hand, Ippei is just constantly just like, bro, seriously, this is just like the book. Please, someone pay attention to me. It's cool. The question I had was it that did Udagawa like arrest Dr. Kanda at some point?
I think he said that like,
happened?
Because if you tell someone, no, seriously, I was telepathically communicated to by aliens, they probably do not think you're sane. He was just like, yeah, I just sent him to an institution, and then I feel bad about it because he was right.
Yeah.
He was my best friend, and I turned him in.
Udagawa, classic type of guy.
A cop?
Which is, cop, old cop, who is more competent than he seems bumbling.
Yeah.
He's the opposite of the guy from the SOS Mount Fuji episode.
Oh, yeah.
This guy could have gotten out of the cave with whatever he had in his pockets.
Yes. Yeah, he could have. And the whatever his name was wouldn't have to do Shadow of the Colossus shit.
That feels like an eternity ago.
I forgot which kaiju was in that episode, I'm not gonna lie.
It was the rock boulder floppy.
Right.
It didn't look good. It was one of the more forgettable. I think it was called Pagos. Wait, no, was that
Pagos?
No,
that
that's
was last week.
Yeah.
Never mind. I don't remember what that one was even called.
I could check, but I'm not gonna bother.
Yeah, no.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the ending. I liked Udagawa vanishing.
Yeah.
In the puddle.
It was a lot of fun.
It was funny. We're got some more fun Ippei stuff coming out.
Yeah. I will say this, like, our second time having alien invasion plot. Wonder if this will become a recurring thing in the franchise. Question.
There are a lot of alien invasions happening.
I do appreciate that we have like alien kaiju, but also just, well, not even kaiju. Well, I guess kind of kaiju in this episode, doing the Super Sentai growing thing. But we got aliens, and then we also got just like guys who are just here on Earth already, and I think it's just good to go between them.
The one of the things, it's funny that this is, this episode kind of sort of gets halfway to inventing Super Sentai. The one of our episodes today gets kind of sort of halfway to inventing Ultraman, I think.
Yeah.
So unless we have more on episode 19, shall I get into episode 20?
Yeah.
I really hope that whenever this won't happen, because I don't know this, but I feel like outside of the monsters, it seems like Ultra Q somewhat has been forgotten, and is just kind of that old thing that the series started with. I could be wrong about this, but that's just kind of my cold shot. Whenever there's an Ultraman thing being made in the 2020s, if there was one, I know that 2020, not an ideal year to be making anything. I really hope that there's some sort of callback in reference to this. I have a feeling I'll be disappointed, though. Also, we will not learn this until
we'll learn this
many years from now.
If it happens, and I'm not going to say whether it does or not, because, secrets. But also, I will say that if it will find out in like 5 years.
That's so many years.
Yeah, I'm just like, I haven't done the math, but
it's something.
Yeah.
All right. Well, episode 20 of Ultra Q is called The Undersea Humanoid Ragon, or is it the Amphibious? I've
got
my
Primordial Amphibian Ragon.
I think that's
I just want to fucking say they call it a reptile, and amphibians and reptiles are not the same thing.
Well,
okay. My friend pointed out something cursed, but we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it.
Wait. Okay, I'll do this. I'll do the summary. We'll come back to cursed.
Okay.
So, Japan sinks, like that book / movie / series. Yuriko is given the job of going to the island of Iwanajima to report on Dr. Ishii, who has been discredited for his controversial theory that Japan will soon sink due to tectonic shifts. Jun thinks this sounds like fun. So Ippei drops the two off on Iwanajima and sulks about not being useful.
Well, yeah, the thing is, he wants to go too, but Jun's like, go away.
Yeah. Jun's like, not today. You're good. Dr. Ishii is investigating undersea volcanic activity and believes the island is due to sink any day now. They build a model, like the prop guys have built a model of the island. So I believe Dr. Ishii, but the local fishing village doesn't pay him any mind. A couple of fishermen pick up a strange egg-like object from the waters near the volcano and agree to lend it to Dr. Ishii, issuing an urgent notice: stop touching alien eggs. Stop it. Dr. Ishii tells Jun and Yuriko that he thinks this is an egg of an ancient undersea humanoid people called Ragon. Late at night, a Ragon comes ashore and kills one of the fishermen that took the egg. It then begins its midnight search throughout the village. So there's some stuff in here where the egg is stolen from Dr. Ishii's house, but it's not by Ragon, it's by one of the other fishermen or something.
Something like that.
Something like that. Anyway, the Ragon finds its way to Dr. Ishii's home, terrifying his sister Fumiko, who flees into another room and shuts the door behind her. Ishii notices that a Ragon, which lives very deep in the sea and withstands like a lot of pressure, should have no problem breaking down the door, but it has yet to follow them. Jun finds that the Ragon is entranced by the music on a little like portable radio, and it lashes out when the track ends and the presenter starts talking.
Honestly, same.
Okay, whatever you say, American Prometheus.
Skipping a couple of intermediary steps here. A mob arrives and Jun urges them not to engage the Ragon. He has a plan. Tuning the portable radio into something that the Ragon likes, he slowly lures it over to a cliff. And I'm not sure what his plan was from here, but luckily there's an earthquake and the Ragon plummets over the side of the cliff.
I I just want to say that when I saw this, I was thinking back to when Jin lured the sea slug over the cliff, and then in my mind,
Yes.
I was just like, maybe Rhaegon is the thing that thrives on salt water.
See, it does.
That's the thing is that because my immediate thought was, oh, he's gonna try to chuck it over the cliff, but this thing has clearly shown it has some degree of intelligence, and it's not stupid enough to just jump after the thing it likes to its demise. Like, that is clearly not going to work. And then when it doesn't work, it just kind of looks back at it like, oh, fuck. It's
shit.
Great. Like, I've cornered myself on a cliff with a monster, and I had one bad idea and it did not work out.
The giant slug stratagem has not worked.
No.
The earthquakes are a sign that the island is about to sink. Dr. Ishii urges the villagers to their boats. They have to escape the island. But at the beach, either another Rhaegon has appeared, or the same Rhaegon survived falling into water and just swum round to the
I
shore.
will say it was interesting that Rhaegon is visibly bounces on the rocks and then just ends up in the water.
Oh, okay.
I assumed it was the same one, to be honest, but I could be wrong.
I assumed it was the same one.
It's not like we're given much context clues.
I assume it's the same one. For some the Ultraman wiki says it's the second one, but you know, wikis are wikis. Where was I? Yes, but at the beach another Rhaegon has appeared. The egg begins to hatch, revealing a little Rhaegon action figure doll.
Pause.
Yes.
This is where my friend Claire pointed out that this Rhaegon has titties, and for an amphibian that lays eggs, that shouldn't.
That's
not how
Thank you
nature
for
works.
this very important information.
This is a
Oh
classic
wait,
mistake.
did the other Rhaegon have him too, or?
God.
This could be the only evidence that we have.
All right, gang, we're gonna have to look through the footage to see if the first Rhaegon had reptile tits.
Yep. This is a classic mistake. People always draw in lizard people with tits for some reason. It's always happening. The egg, yes, Fumiko, the only person with any brains, manages to put two and two together and is like, oh, we should give the child back that we stole from the sea. We should not have stolen. I understand now. Okay, I see. So she gives the child back, and there's a touching moment with her and Rhaegon. Maybe people can understand one another.
You could change the future.
Yes. The Rhaegon leaves with the child, and the villagers board their boats. Jun and Yuriko aren't going to make it to the boats in time. But Ippei picks them up in the helicopter, and they thank him for his help, and he's all like, oh, really? Oh, stop it. They take off, and everyone watches from a safe distance as the island crumbles into the sea. The end.
Right before this episode closed, I was really expecting there to be a scene where, like, someone's boat was having issues, and then Rhaegon saved the day. Just to, like, cement the, like, oh, we can, you know... we can live together in harmony and peace. And no, that Rhaegon gets its kid and it's just like, we're done here.
You know what? Fair. I'm
Yeah.
fair. Rhaegon just showing up like, where's my child? Please.
Please.
Child back now. I can't believe it took the confrontation for someone to figure out, oh, right. This show's about eggs.
It really plays it like, oh, it took the caring heart of a young woman to realize that the mother wanted her child back.
Gender is happening.
It was, yeah. I will say overall liked this episode, but yeah, that towards the end I was just kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, this episode wasn't like
amazing,
but it was pretty decent.
Sometimes it is the 1960s.
Yeah,
what are you gonna do?
It's bound to happen.
Jun just deciding Ippei's not along for the ride this episode. He can stay in the helicopter. It's fine. Very funny. So I guess the idea of Japan sinking was like a big thing at some point.
I guess so. I guess there is an entire novel
I meant to
series.
look that up and then I forgot, so I'm happy.
Well, the thing is, I looked it up. The issue is most of the shit I found was about Japan Sinks, which is a book from the 70s. So that's after this show. So I don't know if there's like this was like an idea that was like in the public consciousness at the time, but it's popular enough to make it into two things. So there we go.
Yeah.
Japan yet to sink is doing okay.
Yeah.
I think as far as places at risk of sinking go, I think it's probably okay. I think we have Venice to worry about first, and then maybe the Netherlands.
Venice is fucked.
Yeah, Venice just fucked. Goodbye, Venice. Japan probably doing okay. Although, living on an island as climate change happens, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, impossible to get very far from the sea in Britain.
Yeah. I also, even if it's one of those things too, where even if there wasn't like scientific talk of that going around, even if like, sometimes there's this pop culture version of science that tends to, float around just to sell books and TV programs and things like that. I'm sure that even is just like a evocative idea for anyone who like lives in an island nation to have to wrestle with just the ever-present nature of being surrounded by the ocean. So
the pop culture version of science that says that ancient people were like 17 feet tall.
Yeah. They were all and they all had they were all doing like sick Artorias Dark Souls spins.
I liked there was a scene earlier in the episode where like you see Ragon first introduced and it just fucking kills guy in the middle of the night. But I also liked how like the next time you see it, it's just like Jun and Yuriko see it in the middle of the forest in the middle of daylight, and I think it's just kind of like it's a striking scene of like tension in daylight in contrast to like the night. And I was like, oh, it's cool. It's not just like dangerous in the night. It's also just like in the daytime. It's like a threat.
Oh, we were dying watching this episode. The scene where the gang, where the monster invades that house and Ragon's chasing them around, and then the main characters come in and they just shut a door and have like a 2-minute long conversation.
It's really funny.
It's in the other room. It's so funny.
And then Jun's like, I'll go take a peek.
There's like at some point in this conversation, Dr. Ishii's like, hang on, it's been like 2 fucking minutes. Where is it? That's a thin door. This is not a real house. That's a set.
But like talking about it with like the weight of, oh, I forgot my taquitos are done. Hold on. Let me... like,
it's kind of funny. Just like Fumiko just like opens the door and it's just right there and it just comes in. I mean it's tense in the scene, but it's just kind of funny. I was just like, oh man, it's just this went from like 0 to 1 in an instant.
Yeah.
The drunk guy not understanding he's staring at a fish woman, also very fun.
We don't know if that one had tits. We gotta check.
No, this is true. This is true.
Don't misgender Ragon.
True. I'm sorry, Ragon.
The door, opening the door onto just reptile face filling the screen. Very good. His book, Dr. Ishii's book, has just got like basically a photo of one. Like it's just like exact. Oh well, that's Ragon. That's it's right there. That's what they look like. And then one crawls out, like, comes out of the sea, and it's like, oh, yep, it just looks exactly like in the book. Who the fuck drew that?
It's amazing that in the society we have like scientists who are deeply in the know who have very detailed photos of these monstrous creatures, and also just like 90% of the public's like, that's not real though.
Yeah.
they're all in the same club. Him, Dr. Ishii and Ichinotani, they know each other. They go drinking. They compare new fake shit to like show off to their gullible. Like Dr. Ishii's got his sister, and Ichinotani's got the gang.
We haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, Ichinotani hasn't been around in a minute. He ran out of fake shit, so he's got to make up some more.
Yeah.
So I have a friend who used to just make shit up all the time, and it became a running gag that was just like, do you just keep like a notebook on you, just like full of like every fake anecdote you can come up with? That's what Dr. Ishinotani is doing, and he's run through all of it. The gang has been very thorough.
I guess this does end with the kind of like the Mole Man, the island sinks. We don't know if it reaches the volcanic layer or not, but
yeah, the island sinks. I have to assume the Ragons are all still down there, just living peacefully. Having
why didn't they help out in the following episode?
They're busy.
What was the following episode? Let me scroll down.
Oh, well.
Oh, yes. Why didn't they help out in the following episode?
Kaiju we got.
They just don't make any noise. They were just keeping quiet. They're just like, shh. That's their problem.
Yeah, they're like, you know what? They live so far below that they're like, that's a surface issue.
Yeah.
We
don't have to worry about that. That's fine. I guess as we're talking about episode 21, do we want to move on to episode 21?
Yeah, I think it's a good segue.
Yeah. Episode 21 is called Space Directive M774.
I just want to point out that that's the episode title in the official subs, but also in the episode itself, the subs say space operation for some reason.
Yeah, this is now a running theme in the last two episodes. Is the title's slightly different. The gang are out on a cruise, and Yuriko's not doing great at cards. Actually, I should just note, vibe check on the gang. We used to feel like it was Yuriko and her two boyfriends. At the moment, I'm feeling like Jun and Ippei are married, and Yuriko hasn't noticed.
Yeah, that's
as you put it eloquently before Bert and Ernie mode.
They were going Bert and Ernie mode. Anyway. Yuriko finds a doll. Oh, yeah?
I was going to say, sometimes you just have a polycule accidentally.
This is true. It just happens. You're like, I need a helicopter, quick, and you stumble into just polycule. Yuriko finds a doll, and it starts speaking. Specifically, it says its name is Zemi. It's from the planet Ruparts, and there's a threat about to arrive on Earth called Bostang. Yuriko throws the doll overboard into the sea where she can't get it back to show anyone. Then she tells the boys about it, and they laugh at her as though nothing weird has happened in the last 20 episodes. Meanwhile, an alien egg lands in the sea and begins to grow. More eggs. This is like Ultra Q is real, like egg core.
It's that Pro ZD skit about getting all the eggs.
Yes. Later, mid-flight, Jun and Ippei find that their plane's controls freeze up. Yuriko watches it return safely to the airfield and land, but no one comes out. The cockpit is empty. Jun and Ippei have vanished. Where could they have gone? To the middle of fucking nowhere. Ippei briefly worries that they're on a different planet, but they spot an inn, so at least they're on Earth. At the inn, the jukebox starts playing a record by itself, which tells them the same thing the doll told Yuriko. Zemi has been assigned to protect Earth from the threat of Bostang as part of Order M774. The voice offers to meet in person and says they will find her at a library. I didn't get the name of the library, but it's a library. The conversation ends, and Jun tries to play the record again, but this time it just plays music. In the middle of the night, a spaceship drops a woman off at the beach. This is Zemi. Meanwhile, under the sea, The egg grows and hatches, and Bostang is revealed to be a giant stingray. The gang meets Zemi at the library, and together they warn the authorities about Bostang, which has already attacked and destroyed ships. Aboard a... is it like a military ship?
Yeah, I think it's just a naval vessel.
Yeah.
Okay. Aboard a naval vessel, the gang hunts Bostang, but when they find it, Zemi tells them that they don't have the firepower to fight, and she advises they cut the engines, as Bostang locates its prey by sound. The ship sits idle, waiting for reinforcements, while Bostang struggles to find the ship that was definitely right there, like a second ago. I'm sure of it. Crisis strikes when a civilian ship comes close, and the captain of the gang's ship has to make a choice. He decides to serve as a decoy, saving the civilian ship. They go full speed ahead.
I want to say for this first they like tell the other ship to stop, and then they just kind of chill there for a few hours.
They do. There is like an extended like so the kind of thing I'd expect from like a submarine war movie, of like people just like, you know, because sonar is a thing, you have to just keep fucking quiet, of just sitting there in silence, waiting for something to happen. It's pretty cool. I like this episode's vibe. At the moment when, you know, they decide, well, we're going to serve as a decoy for the civilian ship, they go full speed ahead and engage Bostang with what firepower they have. During the struggle, reinforcements arrive, JSDF fighters, which destroy Bostang. Crisis averted, Zemi reveals that she will not return to Rupart's, but instead will continue to live on this beautiful planet Earth as reward for her service. Indeed, many like her already live on Earth. She points people out to us. All could be aliens, even the person sitting next to us. Joke's on Zemi, I watch Ultra Q alone. There's no one next to me.
Well, actually, this time I didn't. Fuck.
Who?
Damn, you don't know.
Who's an alien? The girl reading this?
Yeah.
Also, every alien wears the same footwear.
Yes, they all wear the same sandals. It's really funny.
You can identify them by the going to the same tacky store.
Yes, absolutely. The Rupart's fashion, very identifiable. Yeah, this episode just invents. This is Ultraman, basically, right?
Yeah, that was my takeaway too. Actually, it's funny because that was my takeaway, and also my friends who basically have no Ultraman experience are like, "Oh, isn't this like kind of an Ultraman thing?" And I was like, "Yes," like. That's what
somehow,
this is.
Somehow, me, the person who has seen Ultraman, did not register that this is inventing Ultraman. Which I think
it happens.
Maybe it's because there wasn't a giant guy like in the Kemmer episode.
Yeah,
and also, to be fair,
did not get Big Zemi.
This might be a thing that, like, from what I recall, both Red and I, our very first Ultraman thing is Shin Ultraman, which makes a point of, oh, the alien is living among us, so maybe we were just, you know.
It might be that we are projecting.
Yes, but that was immediate. I'm happy that we had the same reaction. That being said, I feel like tacking that on to the very end of your we're being attacked by a giant manta ray episode was a little
that was something that I felt I was kind of like on this episode. Like I felt like it was fine for the most part, and then the ending I was like, what are we doing here? What is this? What's the point of this?
It felt like they wanted to make an episode about a giant cool manta ray, and to be fair, I like the manta ray. I think it's cool. I think maybe the military stuff goes on a little. Well, not just the military. I don't know. I feel like this episode kind of drags on a little bit for me personally. But I still like it overall. But I was kind of towards the end being like, okay, I'm ready to move on here. But it felt like they had a cool story to tell about this giant manta ray monster, and then right at the end we're like, oh no, we didn't really have anything to really talk about with that. The alien that's helping us out, maybe there's other aliens around you, makes you think, and it's like, I guess.
I guess it does make me think. American Prometheus.
The I did find it funny that this whole like, oh yeah, we just peacefully living among you, that then ends with her just like looking straight at the camera as like horror sting hits, going,
Yeah.
your family are aliens.
Yeah.
Yes.
It just felt like what? No, it's totally dissonant.
It's
Totally
really
dissonant with everything else.
I'm the defender for this episode. Even when they probably spend too much time on the ships, I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. You just gotta fucking sit there and just fucking wait, and you have no idea if reinforcements are gonna arrive in time to help.
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
Yeah.
But yes, it is some slight whiplash occasionally.
Now, I will say, I think it is interesting having the setup of like there's an alien invasion, and then there's like another race of aliens that's like, oh, we want to protect humanity. Which I guess I can see how, yeah, does become the foundation of 80% of this franchise. But anyway,
we are learning. We are more aliens to add to the off-screen like interstellar alien war happening.
Yes.
I mean, I am gonna say that there's future Ultraman stuff that is just on screen alien wars.
Yeah, I mean there was like a fucking the mega game people. There was like one of the mega games about doing like alien invasion stuff, was like one of them was like the big twist was that all the people like involved in the mega game who had signed up were themselves one small piece of a much bigger game being played behind some curtains where everyone else was aliens having like an interstellar war, and Earth was like one little bit in the middle. Which is every time aliens in this are going like, oh yeah, there's new aliens on the scene. These ones want to invade. These ones want to help. These ones want to warn us about not throwing shit into space all the time. That I'm always.
These want to do a Silicon Valley thrift.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm always thinking of a bunch of nerds behind a curtain rolling dice. So yeah.
I will say I did enjoy this one more than the 1/8 Project and the Rainbow's Egg. At least I really enjoy that we just got a couple of fun aquatic monsters this session. Just a nice little change of pace.
It's fun to blow shit up in water.
It is extremely funny how completely blown up Bastigon is.
Yeah, how does Bostang blow shit up? How does Bostang work?
I don't know, but
I don't know, but what I do know is that the one time we do see it blow the fuck up out of that ship, it then jumps out of the water and does a flip as if it's flexing.
Yes.
I just meant that like
Bostang shows up.
Like the bomber planes just bomb the shit out of it, and then it just explodes like a piñata.
It does.
Yes.
It does. The one moment where Bostang leaps out of the water and hits a ship, and then the ship explodes, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I believe you.
I have weird feelings too about, well, I don't know if I'd say weird, like capital W weird, but just kind of like, it's very interesting to me that this episode is about like humanity getting this alien protector to help us out with all of this going on, but then the solution, and she does provide assistance to be fair and guidance, but then the solution comes from like the military industrial complex to wrap it up at the end there, which it's like, see, humanity was able to handle the issue itself, but then also you get into, oh god, the military.
See, the thing is that's funny is like the alien's like, oh, we gotta warn you about the kaiju, and then the military does something about it. It's like we have seen episodes in the show where a kaiju just appears and the military deals with it. So it's like, you know, if they would have probably done something without the alien coming.
It is funny how often the kaiju is you're able to just kill it. I was not necessarily. I was expecting like
somehow
the Pegula Moss stuff is almost like the comical extreme on the other end, where it's like
one guy with ambition and a dream to do the right thing.
I feel like most Toho kaiju movies do not resolve with the military blowing shit up.
Yeah,
I mean, there's the Rodan's kind of in between.
Yeah, I have a weird relationship with like this specific method of dealing with it, and the like Rodan is actually one that I think is a good one to bring up, because I think about that a lot, where the military attack basically half solves the problem at the end, but then the monster's own heart and love for its partner is what actually seals the deal. And it's like, yeah, there's enough interesting other stuff going on there that it's not just, oh, and then we bring out the big guns and kill the thing, that I can latch onto. And I feel kind of the same way with this episode, where I think what it's trying to say is like, see, we had it within us to deal with this. We just needed a little bit of like a poke in the right direction. But then also it's like, how much of this is just being like, oh, the Air Force is really fucking cool. Or, I mean, I guess JSDF, but anything involving the military in movies and shows like this, we're going to run into this, right? So, especially when dealing with alien invaders.
Yeah. I think we were worried that like Ultra Q is like a really diverse show, and that maybe Ultraman would be samey, having like the giant silver man doing his laser stuff. But also, if I think about it, if like half of Ultra Q is like the military blowing shit up anyway, then maybe it's okay if the giant silver guy does it instead.
Yeah.
I mean, if the ratio is about the same, then
Oh man, I more and more I can't wait to watch the giant silver man blow stuff up by making a crucifix with his arms.
We got 3 weeks.
Yeah.
7 episodes remain.
It felt so weird, like finishing this week's episode and then being like, well, I guess I can put away disc 3 of 4 into the box now.
7 episodes remain. Like Catholicism is the moon. Is the fucking moon crashing into in Majora's Mask.
That moon already crashed into me the minute I was born into my family, but it's okay. I escaped that moon crash in later years. Well, I'm returning. The second moon is crashing into me.
Ultraman.
I don't know what I'm doing with this metaphor.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if Ultraman makes me a born again Catholic?
We have to end the show.
I would be.
Sorry, my mind has opened to a possibility that we have to stop.
And for our 100 episode special, we're inviting the Pope on.
Well, Red, Red, I know for a fact you know this about me. I did one time when I was very young, converted an ex's family from Mormonism to Catholicism.
I have since feared your power.
Yeah.
You were 10?
No. I was in high school, and I was I was dating a Mormon girl, and she and the rest of her family were kind of like, yeah, a lot of this is fucked up. And then me, unfortunately, was not at the stage of my life where I was like, oh, there's a lot about this whole Catholicism thing that's really fucked up and I don't like. And I left when I was 18, a little bit too young for that, but I ended up convincing her family to convert to Catholicism.
Tsubaraya smiling from heaven.
Yeah. This is completely unrelated, but her aunt thought I was literally an agent of the devil.
Oh my fucking god.
And I'm on like fairly good terms with that ex, and every now and again I'm like, does your aunt still bring me up and hate me? And she's like, all the time.
Oh my god.
So I've left my mark, but
my life is nowhere near this exciting. What the fuck?
I have a lot of dumb stories.
Yeah. Every now and then new Razan lore comes up. I'm like, what the fuck? What?
There's a lot of things that have happened in my life, and I do not keep track of who I've told everything to, so sometimes I'll just have conversations with people, and then I'll need to remind myself, oh yeah, I didn't tell you about this part of my
I feel like we're going to get your entire life story and through the run of this podcast at some point.
Probably.
Yeah.
I will have... There's a not insignificant amount of weird shit that happened to me in growing up in a Catholic church community that I am sure that we will touch on in the seasons to come. Bad ideology.
I can't wait. I can't wait for the story about all of you gathered around set up on crucifixes, projecting beams into someone, like in that one image that I know from Ultra 7.
That is still the only thing I know about Ultra 7 is that image.
I don't even know.
I just have to assume that's what Catholicism is.
I don't even
like.
know if it's an Ultra 7 or a different Ultraman thing, to be honest.
If it's not Ultra 7, that'll be so funny.
It will
there's
be
like
really
7
funny.
guys though. So here's the thing. I don't know anything about Ultra 7. I'm assuming it's called Ultra 7 because there's 7 of them.
We're not gonna make Mel.
Do
break
not
silence
confirm
here.
this for me.
The silence
but
there
like,
was so heavy.
I get enjoyment out of not telling you things. I'll tell you that.
okay, because that's the thing is you make a show about a big silver man and it's popular, and then the next logical sequel conclusion you come up with for the premise is, well, what if there are fucking 7 of them?
Just like how Macross 7 has 7 Macrosses in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's how it works.
In Final Fantasy 7, there's 7 clouds.
There's sure like
every
7 fucking
fi-
Sephiroths in the expanding universe. I'll tell you that.
Oh my god! Every Final Fantasy they add and they make the party 1 bigger. That's how it works. Unfortunately, this means that Final Fantasy 1 you have 1 character.
How do they
like
fit all 15 guys in that rower ship?
In their car. Okay, as the Final Fantasy 15 hater, that game would be so much better if it was about 15 dudes on a bus. Oh my god.
That's it. Yeah, but now you have to drive a bus around.
I'm here for this.
Okay.
Just be like
Euro Truck Simulator.
truck simulator with random
So that's the thing is I felt no pleasure driving that stupid fucking car around. If it was like a bus that was kind of a pain in the ass and like you couldn't turn right and you were constantly crashing into shit, I'd have a good time.
I think we need more JRPGs where you're just playing a bus and then you get into random encounters.
Yeah.
I should play Racing Lagoon, which isn't about a bus, but you know.
Oh, that soundtrack is such a fucking banger. I think we've hit the point where we need to end the podcast.
Yeah. Listen. If you want to follow the show, you may do so at ultra_q on Twitter. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at gender_redacted. Who wants to go next?
I can go. Wait,
Razen, go.
Gun fell over. Hold on, Gun fell over. Okay.
Save Kanagon.
I did. He didn't become a rocket and go up into the sky, but
Thank God.
I'll save him one day. Yeah, I'm at Rosenbrand on Twitter and Rosenbrand on YouTube. Been kind of slow on the YouTube thing. Now that my voice is mostly back to normal, I think I'm gonna go back around and wrap up that Elden Ring Let's Play. And also I'm working on secret things, but I cannot reveal them until they hatch, as is appropriate for this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But people that like Ultra Q and this show, I think we'll be in for a good time when I'm ready to reveal whatever that is. Might be a little bit yet, but there's something coming.
Just like
no
Ultraman
idea.
himself.
Yes. Mel, do you have anything?
Yeah. My Schrodinger's Twitter account is at Dear Crowns. I also have, I guess, a Twitch, the Cosmic_Crown. We have an email for the podcast, the address, I actually didn't check. We got an email, that's fine. It's a ultraqpod@gmail.com. If you ever want to give feedback or ask a question, that'd be the place to do it. The end of the season is approaching rather quickly, I'd say. So
Mm-hmm.
if you ever did want... Wait a minute, I think we actually got an email.
Oh,
actually
shit.
got one out. Do I say it now or do I save it for later? I actually don't know.
Let's save it for the finale, maybe. Or you know what? Let's read it now. If we don't answer it now, we'll leave it. I'll cut this out.
I mean, I guess we're gonna get our first email now, and then we can see about. Okay. So from a guy named Thomas. Hello, Unbalanced Zone Denizens. As someone with no toku or kaiju experience, I'm greatly enjoying the podcast. Love the episode recap and impressions, of course, but also enjoying the pre-recap or repeat discussions. Okay, so good. Figured to ask a relevant question as well. What real-world conspiracies, like cryptids and aliens, would make for the best Ultra Q episode subject, and how would it be adapted to fit into the show's vibe and format? Hope this question will be fun. Thanks for making a fun podcast. P.S. Probably put the podcast email on the Twitter. I should probably do that.
This is funny because I actually am looking at my own email right now, and I think the same person sent me a DM on Twitter to
nice
point this out.
I would just like to say, I think if Ultra Q had some extra bonus money to spend, they should spend some money to go to somewhere where there is enough sand for them to make a really racist episode about pyramids.
Why would you do this? Why would you say that?
I just think they're missing one. I just think they're missing an aspect of
the 60s.
Just like, I think we just need some extra juice to dig into. So like
some
evil
ancient
juice.
Alien.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah, some real bullshit. Yeah, classic stuff.
Of course, a British person would say this.
Yeah, that's my role. I do not actually think that should happen, but it was my first thought in terms of conspiracy theories that I would expect to show up.
I think it'd be fun if they did one about the do either of you know what the Fresno Nightcrawlers are?
I have never heard of Fresno Nightcrawlers.
They're a cryptid that just look like a pair of pants. Hold on, let me send you a GIF.
So here's the thing about Britain is I don't think we really have cryptids. I don't think that's a thing here.
See, the problem is I feel like all of the cool cryptid or folklore creatures are all over in Ireland.
Oh yeah.
Here is a GIF of the Fresno Nightcrawlers.
This is real stupid looking.
It's really dumb, but I think it'd be funny, so I'm gonna pick these.
What would I pick? I can't think.
What's a? Does Canada have conspiracy theories?
I mean, I think most of them are like Trudeau is a communist trying to rot our brains or something. But I don't want Ultra Q to cover that.
I would love an Ultra Q episode about how Trudeau is a communist trying to rot our brains.
Somehow we get one email and become the most cursed podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we have the Sasquatch here.
Sasquatch is a classic. I think that's an episode of the podcast.
We did it.
We did it. We did not go for 2 hours this time. But I think that was a good episode. Join us next time for 3 more episodes of Ultra Q.
Our penultimate Ultra Q episode.
Yeah. So we've got episode 22, 23, and 24 coming up. Join us for that next week. I'll see you there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I liked all 3 of these. I hope I like the final 7.
Yeah.
As we
hell
round
yeah.
out the end here.
Separation, body, mind, etc.